What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Bourbon of the Week. My name's Chris. I'm going to be your host for today, and if this is your first time checking out the channel, welcome. We have Wilderness Trail versus Blue Note Juke Joint in our first round of our March Madness Bourbon Bracket Single Barrel Edition, brought to you by Great Whiskey Challenge. This is the Bourbon Junkies Root Beer Float 2.0. We're going to talk about these bottles. We're going to pour these up, but first, a word from our sponsor. That's right, guys. Throughout all of March, we are going to be showcasing some amazing products from GreatWhiskeyChallenge.com. This right here, the 6-player tabletop party flight pack. Make sure you check them out. Link in the description below. BOTWMM as in March Madness at checkout to receive 10% off. You not only receive everything you just saw there, but you also get everything else you need for 6 players to participate in the ultimate blind tasting. Let's pour these up and let's get into our blind right now. But of course, we cannot forget our tags as well. We're going to put A over here on the Wilderness Trail, and of course, Blue Note is going to get the B. We have glass A, glass B. Let's pour these up, mix these up, and let's get into figuring out who's going to win our first round of our March Madness Bourbon Bracket Single Barrel Edition. I love the pour line on here, by the way. I said I love the pour line, and I literally blew right past it, but more is not going to be a problem. Let's just make sure that this is topped off to the same amount. That's as close as it's going to get. And obviously, we have to mix these up so we don't know which one's which. Let's get into that part right now. Honestly, get so focused on making sure they don't fall off the table that I forget which one's which before we even get started. Let's get into it though. Blue Note Juke Joint, Wilderness Trail, Bourbon Junkies Root Beer Float 2.0. Everybody knows. Time for the traditional sip. Cheers, y'all. No clue. So here we go. As we sip on these glasses, we're also going to talk about these bottles. This bottle right here from Wilderness Trail tells us everything we need to know. 4 years, 4 months old, ISC when it comes to the barrel. Rickhouse B-E24-H11, yeast strain 927. The mash bill is 64% corn, 24% rye, 12% malted barley, and it's coming in at 112.82 proof. The interesting thing about that is it has very similar specs to our Blue Note, which is why I'm so ecstatic that these two got paired up for our first round. Whatever this one is very good. And that's going to bring us over here. Let's sip on glass 2. Again, I don't know if they're correlated, but over here we have Blue Note Juke Joint. This comes in at 70% corn, 21% rye, 9% malted barley. This is 120.6 proof, and this is 4 years old. This did get bought out. Well, I guess Blue Note didn't get bought out, but Green River Distilling, which is who Blue Note sourced from, got bought out by Bardstown Bourbon Company last year. They're still putting out Blue Note, so obviously that's a good thing because we have a Blue Note pick coming out here on Bourbon of the Week. Stick around for that. So I will say this, off the very first sip, they're definitely different, which makes me feel good, right? They were a similar mash bill, obviously 2 different distilleries producing these, 4 years, 4 months, 4 years old, 112 proof, 120 proof. I'm seeing if I can pick up a proof difference, but I'm not really worried about that too much. The way March Madness Bourbon Bracket Single Barrel Edition breaks down is strictly off of taste. I don't care how well it drinks on its proof. I don't care what the price is behind the bottle. I want to know which one tastes better blind, and that's what we're trying to figure out today. I will say off the first sip though that this glass right here is giving me more of those traditional bourbon flavors that I truly love. Nothing wrong with this glass right here. It's just side by side off the first sip. I think I'm leaning this way, but we have a lot of whiskey left to drink. Let's try these out a couple more times. This glass has a little bit more heat on it, a little less complex. I feel like I'm picking up more complexity in this glass right here. A little bit more of a roller coaster ride when I'm talking about those sweetnesses, to those spices, to that oak on the end. While this glass on here, it's a very subtle, it's like the kiddie roller coaster compared to what I'm getting over here. Neither of these are bad. They both taste delicious. I'm excited to keep trying one to see which one I like better. The interesting thing is, and people talk about this all the time, I guess it's just the lighting. This one seemed a little bit darker, but the lighting on this, I have more lighting coming from this side, more backlighting coming from here. So I think it's just because of the lighting that this one seems a little bit lighter, but let's keep trying these out and see which one we like. The second sip, I was still leaning to this glass right here, but the third sip, this one's starting to come around. It's starting to open up a little bit. It's getting a little bit easier to drink. Those flavors are really starting to come out and be a little bit more predominant when they weren't at the beginning, but it's starting to almost flip-flop here. This is why we do March Madness Bourbon Bracket Single Barrel Edition. First of all, I have my own reviews on every bottle in my collection, so if you're interested in anything like that, click that like and that subscribe button here. But the reason we do this is because I don't like to review single barrels. I can go out and tell you I got Blue Note Juke joint, and this is barrel number 17,217, and it's fantastic, right? And then you go out and you get barrel 17,218, and it's crap. So there's no reason to really review these. I can obviously give you my opinion here today, but that's why I keep them off my ranking sheet and everything like that, except for, and I'm man enough to admit this, I did Henry McKenna because I didn't know it was a single barrel when I first got into bourbon, all right? This was a long time ago, so I did do that. That's a mistake by me. I own up to that. Let's keep drinking. The reason I close my eyes, I'm literally filming off of a Galaxy S20. I can't see it. There's no camera that pops out, but I don't want people to think that I'm looking into the camera and looking onto the bottom. So I always cover the bottom of the glass. It's blacked out on the bottom, so you can't see it through this glass right here. And otherwise, I put my finger down here just so that you don't think there's any shenanigans going on, you know? At first, it was all this glass. I was loving this glass, but this glass has made a fourth quarter comeback here. I don't know who I'm going to pick. We're definitely going to have to finish these off. This is my first time drinking alcohol in 5 days as well. I don't know if that's changing things. It's all about what you ate. It's all about what you drank last. It's all about everything that goes into your night. So it's interesting to see how this is a single elimination March Madness bracket, and we're going to kick one of these out right now, and they're going to go up against either the winner of Old Forester and Four Roses OESK is our next round, which is going to be on the 9th. This glass over here starts to dry my mouth out a little bit, and it didn't do that to start, but as I have a couple more sips of this, it's definitely starting to give me some of those tannins, those oaks, which is crazy because both of these are only 4 years, 4 months, and 4 years old. So I don't expect a lot of age notes behind this, and there's not a lot of it, but definitely some dryness on this glass right here. This has a very good mouthfeel, coats the entire mouth, a very long finish as well, right? I don't have to revisit this time and time again to get those flavors. They're very predominant now that I've gotten a couple of sips in. Again, at the beginning, I was a little bit worried. I thought this was going to be a blowout, but this glass is definitely making some very good improvements here towards the end. This is tough for me, guys, because I don't want to kick the bourbon junkies out at the very beginning. Matt already tried to do that on Matt Madness, kicking Sean out and giving it to Josh. But here we also have Blue Note Juke Joint, which I'm about to pick. It's about to be my very first bottle pick. So if that loses, then people are going to be like, well, should I buy his bottle pick or should I just go out and buy a Wilderness Trail? So I got to make sure we're making the right decision here. Let's take the last sip of each of these, and we're going to call it. We're not going to keep you long today. So I just want to say before I take this last sip, if you didn't have an opportunity to make a bracket, you still have a chance to win something, both from me and from Great Whiskey Challenge. Come join our Discord, link in the description below. After all of this is said and done, we're going to do a live stream with last year's winner, Jack Daniel Coyhill, versus this year's winner, and you're going to have an opportunity to win a prize again. But the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you join the link in the description below to the Discord. Everybody knows. One more sip. Cheers, y'all. Let me just say this before I pick a winner tonight. Every bottle that we've included in our March Madness bracket this year is a fantastic pour. None of these are losers, right? The only one you might not have heard of is Mermaid Spirits, which is out of Huntington Valley, Pennsylvania, and that's still MGP, right? So we know we're getting good whiskey when it comes to that. It's gonna be tough to pick some of these, but I do have to make a decision. This glass right here was the winner up front. First 2 sips, no questions asked. This glass made a huge comeback, but at the end of the day, I don't think it quite got there. I have to stick with this glass right here. It gave me what I wanted from the beginning all the way to the end. While this glass had everything that I was looking for, it just fell a little bit short to this glass right here. And we're going to find out, drum roll please, which one we went with, which is Glass B, which is our Juke joint over here. Blue Note, I'm kind of happy about that because I am going to do a Blue Note pick. This is a fantastic bottle right here. This is still a delicious pour. Bourbon Junkies, you picked a absolute banger when it comes to Wilderness Trail. I do love Wilderness Trail, but this is Glass B. Blue Note Juke Joint is moving on to our next round. If you had Blue Note winning this, let me know in the comment section below. I would love to know. If you've had the Bourbon Junkies pick and you thought that was going to win, I also want to know that as well. These were both delicious pours. It was very close in the end. This one just fell a little bit short if you ask me. Still a fantastic bottle. Very happy that I got to try it. But Blue Note will be moving on, and our next round will be Four Roses OESK versus Old Forester Single Barrel. Excited to get into both of those. We'll see you next time, March 9th, on our March Madness Bourbon Bracket Single Barrel Edition. Make sure you click that like and that subscribe button. Check us out on Instagram at Bourbon of the Week. Click those links in the description below to Discord and our Patreon. Please don't drink and drive. Always drink responsibly, and stay healthy, stay happy, stay drinking. Cheers, y'all. Madness.